So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing with functions. We would have met functions in our last class, and we would have shown well that a function has a name, a variable associated with it, and then there is the actual function itself. So much so then that when we say then f of a number, then what we do is that wherever x was in this equation, we're just going to replace it with whatever was inside of the bracket. So we have 3 times 5 plus 2. Yeah, 15 plus 2, which is 17. We also, and similarly, and it doesn't matter what we put inside of the bracket. If we had put a different letter, let's say we had put A inside of the bracket, the rules doesn't change. Wherever x was, we're going to replace it with whatever is now in the bracket, which is now A. So that will be 3 times A plus 2, which is just 3A plus 2. If I had put an expression in the bracket, it doesn't change. If I had put x minus 2, we do the same thing. It will be 3 times x minus 2 plus 2. Every single time we've replaced x with what is in the bracket.
I'll work this out.
And now, yes, now we can work it out. So now we have to expand, which means that this must multiply everything inside. So 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2. And then because these are like terms, it'll be 3x minus 4. We did all of this last class. Yeah? We also looked at what we call composite functions. And for this one, let's say we had f of x being x plus 2 and g of x being 2x. Then if I said g f of x, this means that I am going to find f of x first, and then whatever I get, I'm going to put into the g function. What is f of x? Well, f of x is x plus 2.
X plus 2, yeah.
So that means g of f of x would be g of x plus 2. And then what does this mean? It means that in my g function, wherever I had x, I'm now going to put x plus 2. So then that becomes 2 times x plus 2. And if we are to expand the bracket, we will get 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 2 times 2, which is 4. Who's the one with all that noise doing? All right, okay. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if I were to do f of g of x, what that means is that I am now going to put g of x into the function of f. But what is g of x? G of x is 2x. So it means that I'm doing f of 2x. So wherever x was, I'm now going to write
2x.
That becomes 2x plus 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, let's take one more example in relation to this. let us see that I wanted to find f squared of x. Now, what does this mean? This means f of f of x. It means that I'm going to put x plus 2, because f of x is x plus 2, right, into the function again. So I have x plus 2 plus x plus 4. So I don't want us to get confused. This here, even though we may see and see f squared, it's not f squared, it's really f of f. Yeah? So when it comes to functions, if we see this here, it's actually that we're putting the function into itself.
Oh,
So if I see g squared of x, this means that I'm putting the g of x function into the g of x function. And the g of x function is 2x. So I'm putting 2x into this. So then this will become 2 times 2x, which is just 4x. This is what we did last class. Yeah?
Yeah.
So today we want to move on and we want to begin to deal with the inverse of function. Now, when it comes to the inverse of functions, it's basically going from the end and working backwards. So let's take, for example, the same machine we had at the beginning of last class, where we had a box, I think we had 3 boxes. Yeah? The bottling machine, where we start with the bottle. And somebody say, well, we could label the bottle. And we could fill the bottle.
so yeah, sticking there.
I'm sticking.
Yeah, kinda.
The drawing sticking as well, or is just my voice?
The drawing. You were sticking on my thing when moving on.
Was I sticking on anybody else's?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, that may have been your internet connection, but
That's right.
well, no. So going that way is what we would have done, right? But if we wanted to do the
Bruh, I
inverse,
connected to Longstairs Wi-Fi.
if we wanted to do the reverse, then it would have been uncover, then unfill, then
Label.
unlabel.
Label.
So if we start with our answer, to get what we started with, we'll have to do the opposite going backwards. Yeah? So when we talk about the inverse of a function,
Alright. So, yeah, my salary is E.
thank you.
Problem.
Now, I'm going to take this step by step, right? So when we talk about the inverse of a function, talking about that equation where we would use to find what we started with. So we have the final answer, but we wanted to find out, well, what did we start with to get this answer? Now, and we're going to take it based on some simple ones, and then we're going to go with some of the harder or more difficult functions and show how we find the inverse step by step. So we're going to take our time and let's go. So let us say I have a simple function. I have f of x, and that is equal to x plus 5. Everybody good there, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I told you find f of 4, what would you have done?
4 plus 5,
We had done 4 plus 5, and you would have told me that that answer is
9.
9.
where? So we know that 4 maps to 9. If I had done f of 3, what would you have done?
3
3
plus
Plus
5,
8.
3 plus 5, which is?
8.
So you know that 3 goes to 8.
8.
Now, if I say f of x is equal to 14, did I give you the x value?
Mm.
No. I simply told you that something is going to give me an answer of
14.
no. How do we work that out? Well, it's simple. We already know what f of x is, right? F of x is x plus 5.
Minus 5.
So we know x
So
plus
x
5
plus
is
5 is equal to 14.
14.
So x to
14.
be equal
And
to
if we want to
14 minus
find x, we already
X.
know how to do this by making x
the subject of the formula.
the subject. And this is why we did this before. We're transposing, this is supposed to be one word, right? Don't study it. Fine. For some of you are killing me. Right? So how would we make x the subject of this formula?
X equals to 14 minus 5.
14 minus 5.
Exactly. It will just be 14 minus 5, and we know that the answer is then going to be
9.
9. Yeah? Simple enough, right? Let's
Yeah.
take a slightly more difficult function. So let's do 2x minus 3. Yeah? And let's say I said g of x was going to be equal to minus 9. Again, it doesn't change. We know what g of x is. G of x is
2x minus 2.
Minus 3.
exactly. So we can replace that. So we'll get 2x
2x
minus 3 is equal to
equal to minus
negative
9.
9. What will be the first thing we'll have to move?
The minus 3.
Exactly. So we'll get 2x is equal to negative 9. Now, what does it become?
Plus
Plus
3.
3.
So that's 2x is equal to how much?
Minus
Minus
6.
Nice. So then x will be equal to
minus 6 divided by 2.
Minus 3.
yeah. Simple enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. What about so again? Let's take it a step further. Let's go. H of x is 4 minus 2 over x. And now let's work this one out. So let us say I told you that h of x was equal to 6. This one's easy, but let's do it. 6, right? Steps don't change. So we start with our equation. 4 minus 2 over x. That will be equal to
6.
6. Now, what is the first thing we should move?
Make x the subject of the formula.
Yeah, we got to make x a bigger the formula.
So put that 4 to 4 over 1.
All right. So you want to move the 4? I hear somebody say move the 4. All right. If we move the 4, what will we get?
Let me see. 6 plus 4? No, 6 minus 4.
Right. So you will get 6 minus 4. But what we have on this side?
Minus 2x.
Minus 2 over x.
Yeah.
Where's 6 minus 4?
2.
2.
Now, how do we solve this?
Multiply.
You could cross multiply.
Exactly. So we can cross multiply. So we will get, and anyway, minus 2 is equal to 2x. So then x will be equal to
minus 2 over 2.
Equal to
which
1.
is 1.
Negative 1. Don't forget the minus sign. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this one. Let's say I had f of x was equal to x plus 3 over
Watch on me.
x plus what?
I'm
2. Yeah?
Are crazy people in here.
And I asked you to find the value of x when the function is equal not to 1.5. Sorry, that's a wrong.
So I'm
Oh,
1.25.
bruh.
Yeah?
Wow.
Now, again, the steps don't change, right? We
Yes,
have
sir.
x plus 3 over x plus 2 will be equal to 1.25.
1.25.
Now, when it comes to a question like this, yeah,
Yeah.
whenever you see you have your variable in the denominator for one of your terms, multiply each term by that denominator. So the denominator here is x plus 2, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to multiply x plus 2 by
By
all
1.1.
of them. So you have the x plus 3 over x plus 2 equals to the 1.5. And we're
Over
going
x
to
plus 2.
multiply each of them by x plus 2. Now the reason why we could do this is that, because see, if we have an equation, right, and we multiply everything in the equation by the same thing, the equation doesn't change. So what we basically did here is that we carry it over this to the next side. That this will cancel out that. And what we will be left with is x plus 3.
X plus 3 equal 1.5 by x plus 2.
1.25 by
Oh yeah, 1.25
x
by
plus 2. Now remember, to make x a subject, we got to get x on the side by itself, right?
yeah.
But you see, we have two x's, one in prison and one outside. So you have to free the one in prison. You have x plus 3
is equal to 1.25x plus 2.5.
exactly. And now, what side do you want to move the x's to? The left or the right?
Left side.
Left side. All right. So that means you're moving this one, right?
Yeah.
So
Yo,
where do they for the x plus 3 and the 1.25 the last penalty?
This one?
Multiply it 1.25 by 2.
By 2?
is
Take it out of the
1.25 by
bracket,
x
remember?
and 1.25 by 2. To get rid of the brackets, everything outside was multiply everything inside.
Inside the bracket, yeah.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's say move it to the left side. So I'll move it to the left side. So we'll have x minus 1.25x plus 3 is equal to 2.5. Now, where you want to move?
The 3.
What belong here? So you kick that across. So you have x minus 1.25x is equal to 2.5 minus 3. So remember, x by itself means that there is a 1 in front of it, right? I write it in a different color because we're supposed to see it there even though it's not there. So what is 1x take away 1.25x?
Minus
Minus 1.25?
No.
What?
1 take away
Sorry, that noise now,
1.25 would be negative 0.25.
Okay.
Because if something costs $1.25 and you only have $1, that means you're owing 25 cents, right?
Yeah.
All right, same principle. And what about this one? 2.5 take away 3.
minus 0.5.
Exactly. So then how much is x? X will be negative 0.5 over negative 0.25. And you will have calculators if you need it, but you don't really need it for this.
Should I like negative a half?
That's 2, sir.
No, the minus signs cancel out each other.
Well,
Mhm.
half, I mean.
Yeah?
Mhm.
And you make
Exactly,
it
excuse me.
so it'll be 50 over 25.
And I cancel them out.
And when you cancel that
25
out, you
into
get x being
25.
equal to
No, a fifth, 1/5.
Well, 2.
2. Yeah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and what we've been doing there is that we've been using the concept of finding the inverse and just solving for it one time. But sometimes we may just be asked to write the function for the inverse. So let's say we have a function. Let's say we have g of x is equal to 4 minus 2x squared. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to finding the inverse of a function, wow. There's some steps you have to take, right? First,
Laptop that way.
I don't know.
A person phone picking up car passing and thing, you know.
So we rename the function as y. 2,
DK.
What?
Teacher only. DK is open. But
so let's go to this. So if we were told to find that's sorry. Right. So let us say you were told to find this. What this means, this to the negative 1, this means the inverse of g. Or g inverse.
like something like matrices.
Exactly. Yeah? When you see the negative 1, it means you're finding the inverse. So to find the inverse of the function, yeah, first things first, we have to
You listening?
sorry. All right. So to find the inverse of the function, first we take the function. So let's start with the function. So 0, start with function. I step 0.
Wow.
Right. So to find the inverse of a function, let's start with the function. What's the function we're trying to find the inverse of? We're trying to find the inverse of this function here. 4 minus 2x squared. Yeah? Everybody good with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Start with the function. Boom.
Yes, sir.
Next thing, we are going to rename.
So you said no.
Right. So, well, what we're doing, Zoe, we're learning how to find the inverse of a function. So we're going to find the inverse of this function, this pretty looking function here, by going through each of the steps, right? So the first thing you have to do is start with the function that we want to find the inverse of. The question was, find the inverse of G inverse, right? Find G inverse of X, or find the inverse of G. So in order to find the inverse of G, we must first start with the function G. That's all we have so far. Now, next step, rename the function as Y. So this is the name of the function, right? G of X is the name of the function. Renaming it as Y means that we're going to move the name and instead we're going to put Y. So we have Y equals to 4 minus 2X.
Squared.
Good so far, right?
Uh-huh.
Nice. Now, switch the locations of all X and Y's in the equation, which means that wherever Y was, I'm now going to write X. And wherever X was, I'm now going to write.
Why?
Y.
So a Y was here, so I'm now going to write X equals to 4 minus 2. X was here, so now I'm going to write
Y
Y.
squared.
And I square.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Why replacing them with the other?
The only reason we replace it is because generally speaking, when it comes to a function or an equation, it's always Y equals something. That is really the only reason we replacing it. If you had left it like this, then it's simply just make X the subject of the formula. But we're just changing it to this so that we'll make Y the subject of the formula and then it'll just be like a regular thing.
Okay.
So it's actually no purpose whatsoever, but it's just for, I guess, regular reading purposes. All right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Now,
I was not run around for nothing.
yeah, I won't say I run for nothing, but what are you gonna do? Now, let us make Y the subject of this formula. So we've done this, now we're gonna make Y the subject of the formula. And what does that mean? We want Y to be on one side by
Itself.
itself. So what we had to move first,
So make it and just leave it like the one on the top.
like this,
Yeah.
and then what? Make X the subject of the formula? You could do that, you know, it's the same answer.
Right, so go on.
But
I
generally
really want to see
speaking-
this answer.
Generally speaking, when we have functions, X is our variable on the inside now. So that is why it does usually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but so that is making
So-
I go show you all why afterwards. Because watch, there's also G inverse of X, right?
yeah.
It means that you want your function to be in terms of X. And by us switching it, when we work it out, we will have Y in terms of X. And we just had to put the function one time. I'll work it the other way and show you what you will have to do if you wanted to do it the other way around, right? But let me work it this way for now, and then I'll show you after with the same question what you will have to do.
Yeah.
All right, I hear so otherwise.
So sometimes I just wonder how this has helped me in life.
So
Yo,
say gonna be 4 plus X
right. 4 plus X or X plus 4, either way is fine.
divided by 2,
Not by 2, but this is a,
negative
all right, so it will be X plus 4 over negative 2.
-2, and you square the whole thing.
And to get rid of the square sign, we'll have to
Yeah, the square root.
square root.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, but now when it comes
Yes,
to a
it is.
square root sign, is either plus or minus. And what does that mean? Well, what I mean by that, the square root of 9, yeah, can be 3,
Mhm.
or it can be negative 3. And why is that? 3 times 3.
9
What is
and
negative
minus
3
3 and
times
minus
negative
3
3?
is 9.
So because the square root has 2 answers, and you're not sure which it is, you put plus or minus to show that there are 2 possible answers. But your steps are correct. First you move the 4, then you will move the 2, then you will move the square sign, and you get this.
So why when you move the 2, it stay as the minus instead of changing to a positive?
Yes, so you're not changing it.
Because what we
We
did,
know.
we didn't add or subtract, right? We divided.
Mm.
Now, if you wanted to get,
This time so
if you wanted to get rid of this negative from this side, to get rid of the minus and the 2, you'll have to actually divide by negative 2. So that these will cancel out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So when you come across on this side, that's why it stays. Because to get rid of this, you have to divide it out. So the minus sign will stay with it.
Okay, sir.
Cool? Great. Now, what we have to do, replace y with the inverse function. So the inverse function is this. So we just write g inverse of x is equal to the square root of x plus 4 over minus. Now this is what I call a more difficult
Screenshot.
example. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do it over. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if we can take a simpler one to do it with. All right? Let's say that f of x was equal to 4 minus 2x. And you were asked to find
The easy up now.
f inverse of x. Yeah? First thing, start with the function. So what's the function? The function is?
4 minus 2.
4 minus 2x.
Nice. Second thing, rename the function as y. So put y is equal to 4 minus 2x. Now this one here is where you're saying, wait, don't make no sense. All right. So for this question, let me leave it out and let's just make x subject of the formula instead and see what happens. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then if we were to make x subject of the formula here, what would happen?
y minus 4.
The y minus 4.
Is equal to
2.
minus 2.
Negative 2x.
And then what? X could be?
X is equal to
Y
minus
over
Minus
2.
4 over 2.
Negative 2.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I know we say well, no, we're saying replace y with the inverse function. Well, we had to be replaced x with the inverse function, right? So now you have f inverse of x is equal to y minus 4 over minus 2. But something wrong here because there's no x in this. Are you seeing there's no x here?
So the answer have to get X in it.
Yeah, because what we're doing is that and this is why it's important that we switch them. Because this y is what we're actually calling.
Oh.
So that's why we switched it around. Now you could have switched it right there at the ends and you will get the same answer. But let me switch it at the beginning where we're supposed to, right? 4 minus 2y, x minus 4 would be minus 2y, y would be x minus 4 over negative 2. So then f inverse of x will be x minus 4 over negative 2. Now, yeah? Everybody good up to here? How we got from here? How we got this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Yes.
could be simplified. And why can't this be simplified? You see this minus sign in here? Down here? We could carry it on top. So we'll get negative x minus 4 over 2. And what this will then mean is that we switch the signs of the things inside. So it become negative x plus 4 over 2 or 4 minus x over 2. That's just to make it written in a better
No, sir, I
looking-
don't. So you can leave it as what we gave before.
Hmm?
We can leave it how it was before, because I lost.
It's not that we can't, but if we're talking about representing it in its simplest form, then we have to use it like this. So if you see a minus sign below, what that means is just switch all of these signs on top. So what was negative will now become positive, or what was positive will now become
Negative.
negative. So how about this one? Let's say I had given you this function. We're keeping it simple still. So you have f of x is 3x minus 7. Yeah? I could start to pick on people, and yes, sir. Yeah, start to pick on people. All right, cool, nice. Thanks for that vote of confidence. So let's pick on. Any volunteers for the first question?
Me.
Who's me there? Tishari?
Yeah, I think you have to
All right, Tishari.
figure be fx.
All right, you're working out the inverse of me. All right, let me go, let me go.
No, so we erase that.
Find f
It'll
inverse
be
of x.
y equals to 3x minus 7.
All right.
And you find the interchange.
Right, so that means x could be 3y minus 7. Now what?
Right. And then you make y the subject of the formula.
Right, so what are we doing? What am I moving first?
X plus 7.
Right, right.
Right, equals to 3y. Then you say x plus 7 divided by 3.
All right.
And that would be equals to y.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What's the last thing?
So f inverse of x be equals to x plus 7 over 3.
Performance.
Oh.
The man a thing. Yeah? No. All right. So Tishari, get that one right. Let me see. Who's the next person? There's nobody volunteering themselves. I kind of volunteer people, but I think I randomize and put names and numbers next to it. Let's see what's going on. All right, cool.
So let me go now.
All right, Justin, let me go. We go in g of x now, right? You there with me so far, right? 1 minus 2 over x. Find the inverse of the function. Let me see it, Justin. No, wait. Let me go. What you gotta do? What the first thing you gotta do?
Y equals 1 minus 2 over x.
Right. Now what?
And interchange them, so it will be x equals 1 minus 2 over y.
Right. Now
Make
what?
y the subject of the formula, so it will be x minus 1
Plus 1.
All right.
plus 2 minus
Hold on, pause. I hear
Um,
somebody say plus 1. No. What you have to remember is that in front of this 1 is a plus 1, right? That when you move it across,
So
it
it
becomes
be minus 1.
Okay, okay.
all right. Now what? Now what, Justin?
since that's not so cross multiply.
Exactly. So make sure you put these in brackets.
They put them in brackets and treat them by 2 or something.
Yeah, and treat it like one thing. Cool? So now we'll have y times x minus 1 is equal to.
Minus 2.
Now how come I get
Minus
y by itself?
all of this way.
Well, what does this mean? This is y times this, right?
Say y multiply
Is there
everything
any
in the
y
bracket.
in this?
No.
So we just get rid of the whole thing one time.
Yeah.
All right. So to get rid of the whole thing one time, just divide it out, right?
Divide. Yeah. Since it must be multiplied.
So then let me see, do it on both sides.
And they cancel out.
So what we get?
Yeah. Y equals minus 2 over x minus 1.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
format.
So then that's not f, but g inverse then
G, yeah, G.
of x will be what?
Minus 2 over x minus 1.
So minus 2 over x minus 1, which is correct. Or if you wanted to write it in a simpler form, it will be 2 over 1 minus
x plus
x.
1. Oh,
The minus sign causes these to switch.
Okay.
Yeah?
oh, good. Okay.
All right, Justin. I will get a word for that one.
Bruh. Haha.
Right. Moving on. Next person in the dance.
So let's see the question first.
You see the question. So the question was to determine what was that killer volunteering? What?
Okay, sir.
Oh, all right. So how about this one? 4x plus 5 all over 3.
So make that so easy just because it was a girl.
You find that easy? All right.
Yeah.
Kayla, hold on. Let Kenyan do this one then.
So my mom calling me. Yeah, mommy.
Kayla, let me go.
it? Yeah. Y is equal.
So yeah, we find an f inverse of x, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So y equals
4x plus 5 over 3.
right. Now what? Now what?
And then you switch the x and the y.
All right.
So x is equal to 4y plus 5 over 3.
All right.
And then you gotta make y the subject carry formula.
All right.
So we
Where you moving first?
move the
Plus
so yeah,
5.
you could multiply it, like cross multiply.
Okay, so let's do that.
And then you get 3x is equal to 4y plus 5.
Right.
Then it will be 3x minus 5 is equal to 4y.
All right.
Scholar.
Then 3x minus 5 over 4 is equal to y.
All right. And what's the last thing?
F of
inverse
x inverse is equal to 3x minus 5 over 4.
Say less.
Oh.
Say less like say less.
All right, next person in the dance.
I volunteer Shanika.
You volunteer, Shanika?
Huh.
All right, Shanika.
So she's not here, no, sir.
Eh?
She's not here.
She not here?
She gone? She not here.
So where she going?
What the hell is this?
All right, Kelvin, come,
So
there you
I-
go.
Alright, sir. Good.
X plus 2 over x plus 3. Let's see if, and I'll help you walk through on this one. Should I be looking to Kelvin, man? Nah. I will do that one day on my own. So Kelvin, here, one for you.
Alright.
4x over 3 plus 5. How about this one? Not the same thing. So let me go. You want to find G inverse.
So it will be y equals
All right.
4x over 3 plus 5.
All right.
Then I do the change, so it will be x equals 4y over 3 plus 5.
All right.
Then you make y the subject
All right. So what we
So-
moving first?
plus 5,
All right. So what will it become?
x minus 5
All right.
equals 4y over 3.
Right. Right.
Then you move the
3.
3. You move
Alright,
the
how
3,
you-
so it will be x minus 5 multiplied by 3.
Exactly. So it'll be 3 times x minus 5.
Right. And then you move the 4, so it will be 3
So I find
times
you know that easy, you know.
x5. 3 times x5 over 4.
X minus 5. 3 times x minus 5. Eh?
Yeah, 3 times over 4. And I get y.
So you know that
Alright.
easy, you know.
You'll find this was easy.
Yes,
So
sir.
what will be the inverse function?
3 multiplied by x minus 5 over 4.
What?
You could remove the brackets and put the 3x minus. Or that would that be wrong?
What? 3x minus 15?
Yeah.
Wait, Shanika, come back. What?
So
Well, it wouldn't have been wrong, my dear.
It would that be wrong?
No, you would have been right. All right. So now let me try that one question I had on the board just now. So let's say we had f of x, and we had x plus 2 over x plus 3. Again, the steps don't change, so we would have done y is equal to x plus 2 over x plus 3. So that means x would have been
Y plus 2.
y plus 2 over,
Y plus 3.
and because we have it in the denominator,
Yeah, the
plus multiply, so we have x times y plus 3. We good there?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. But you see, in here now, we see we have we have the y here in brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So that we have to get it out. So that means we had to multiply it in this case.
By
So that
everything.
becomes xy
Plus 3x.
plus 3x will be equal to y plus.
Mm-hmm.
So right. And now we go back to our regular scheduled program. We had to get all the y's on our side by themselves. So let's say bring this one across. So we'll have xy minus y. And now we had to move across this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we'll have xy minus y is equal to 2 minus 3x.
Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna get rid of the x.
Well, now we had to get rid of the x, but to get rid of the x, you can't just divide it out because you have 2 terms on this side. So in order to get rid of the x, here, whenever you have something like this occurring, yeah,
Mm.
you have to
Right.
factorize.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So that means what I have in common here, that y in common, right?
Mm.
So you put the y outside, then it becomes x
X
minus
minus
how much?
1.
1. Then that'll be 2 minus 3x. So then what will y become? 2
2
minus 3x.
x divided by x 1.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, because I carry over the x minus 1.
Hey,
Exactly.
let me screenshot this. So that was a hard one.
Yeah.
That one
That's
is,
why I decided to do that. Just to at least so you all could see. So you see here, because you remember you only want one y in your final answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever have multiple terms with y in it, you have to factorize. All right?
Yeah.
Anybody want to try one like this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's say we have g of x, and we have 3 minus x over x plus 2.
So the signs gonna be the same.
Huh?
I see. Y equals 3 minus x over x plus 2,
All right.
which is now x equals 3 minus y divided by y plus 2.
All right.
Cross multiply,
All right.
that'll be x bracket y plus 2 and 3 equals 3 minus y.
Right.
Alright, and I get the y out and the bracket.
Okay.
What now? Saving over the minus y.
Okay. So then we'll have xy plus y
minus
plus
plus
2.
y. So now, let's know, xy plus y equals 3 minus 2x.
All right.
And we factorize.
All right. And we will get
Y
Y bracket x plus 1 equals
last step.
yes
g into x equals
Cool. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So we good there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Nice. So let's see if we could get some practice. Get some practice on this. Right? So correct me if I'm wrong. I am about 87.25% sure I sent you all a PDF in the chat marked practice. And I know some of you all didn't open it, but that's fine. I'm going to open it and I'm going to put one of the questions here. Now, so the question says that f of x is a function like this, 2x squared minus 5, where, all right, and g of x is 3x minus 2. Cool?
Yes, sir.
So like two questions.
This is one question. So in the PDF I sent you, mark practice is actually number 13. So if you rather look in the PDF, I don't know how your phone's setup is set up, but you'll have the PDF in the chat.
The screen.
So part A is saying
This.
to evaluate, and for the first one it says f of -3. All right, Kenyon, do this one for me. What's the answer?
Right, sir. So replacing x with -3.
All right. So what am I writing here?
It'll be times 2x.
So
Give me
it'll be
2x
2.
now. 2 by -3 squared. Take away 5.
Nice. So that would be 2 times how much?
-3, -3.
Nine.
Oh, thank you, Shaniqua. Now what?
2, 9 times 2,
Which is?
18. 18 take away 5.
So the answer is
13.
boom. Max.
Say less.
Next question answers. Huh?
So let me see the next one.
It?
So write it now.
GF of -3.
That's all I know.
So who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Fine, Shelly. Come on, Shelly. Let's
So
go.
you know that f.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah,
Exactly,
if
you
f
know-
is already 13,
Right. So then
then
you're
just
finding.
find g of 13.
All right.
So it's gonna be 3 multiplied by 13 minus 2.
Okay.
And then that would be 39 minus 2. And then that would be
It is 8,
37.
37.
37.
Oh, you're saying you know maths. Oh,
Bruh.
oh, you're learning to raw. Facts.
Yeah.
Do that kind of thing there.
Okay.
Now,
Gotta find the inverse of G.
find the inverse of G. Who is the lucky person to do this one for us?
Yes, mommy.
Yes.
So did I want the food now? We gonna do this.
Question.
Huh?
So did I want the food and we
How
gonna
do
do
that
this?
the food?
I don't think
why-
you might want me to do that to me.
That gonna be
If you,
Get to Shari.
yeah.
so y equals to
3x
-2.
3x minus 2.
Okay.
So x gonna be equals to 3y minus 2.
Right.
Then I make y the subject of the formula,
Right.
which will be x plus 2 divided by 3.
All in one step.
Equals
Right.
y.
So then
So
G
g
inverse will
inverse
be
x minus x plus 2 over by 3.
oh yeah.
Say less.
Jeez. Gangsters in this place, but
Bruh.
Wait.
So I feel this quarantine game we smarter.
so part C is saying determine the value of x for which. Oh wow, this is so mean, but fine. I write it as the question is. So it says determine x, right? For which
Yeah, man.
G inverse of x is equal to 4. Well, let's just do that real quick. G inverse of x as well.
4.
Is this right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's x plus 2 over 3 is equal to 4.
4, yeah.
So then what are we writing?
So it gonna be x plus
X
2
over
equals 4.
4 by 3.
4 by 3,
4. Yeah.
which is
12. X plus 2 equals 12.
nice. So then x is equal to
12 plus
minus
0.
10.
It will be 0.
10.
Wait,
Think it's
wait,
0.
wait. Oh, my bad.
Right. Now this question, I'm laughing at this question, right? Because it's asking you, well, determine the value for x for which the G inverse is 4. Well, what is G inverse? G inverse is basically working backwards, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this, you use this function to determine what you started with. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But so what this is actually saying, determine what you get out if you started with 4. So all you had to do was put 4 into this and do 3 times 4 minus 2, which is just 12 minus 2, which is 10.
Wait, what?
I don't follow.
Okay, if I had said this statement, if I had said this, right? Determine x for which g of x is 10. What does this mean? This means this x is what I'm putting into it to get out my answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then here, this is where I would, find the inverse and then just solve it and get out my answer is that what, in order to put, so I'll have put what? I'll have put 10 is equal to 3x minus 2 and then get 12 is equal to 3x and get x is equal to 4.
3 times 4 minus.
Yeah? Now here, this is asking, what did I put into the x function to get out 4? So don't worry about it. Just work it out if you're not too sure of the understanding of it just yet. Practice working it out, and that's what we're doing. So ignore what I was just saying. All right, just ignore that, all this drama. Because right now we're just practicing, but I just want you all to see and understand. Okay. Cool. Next question. Let us see. Let's look at the questions now. Oh, you didn't finish. All right. You didn't finish. The last part of the question was determine g of f of x. How are we doing that?
I'm getting ready to shut down. Come on.
F is 13, right? So you're finding G.
So 2 by negative 3 square. So what it gonna be?
So G of f is not 37.
I thought X is 13,
No. But here, g of f of a number, is actually g of the function. So we have to put the function.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So then it will be 3 times.
Oh.
Because here they didn't give us a value. Here they just give us the function itself. So it means that we have to put the function into the next one. Now so 3 times 2 is 6, so that's 6x squared. Minus 3 times 5 is 15. Minus 2, so then the answer becomes?
So you gotta go over that one there.
Yes, sir, I understand.
All right.
So where that 3 come from?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the function f of x. This is the function g of x. So g of f of x means I'm taking f of x and I'm going to put that into my g function, right?
Okay.
So what is f of x?
2x squared minus 1.
2x squared minus.
Exactly. So that means I'm going to be writing
5.
or putting 2x squared minus 5 into
Right.
the g function. So wherever x was in my g function, I'm now going to write 2x squared minus 5. So that's 3 times x, but x, instead of x, I'm writing 2x squared minus 5. Then put minus 2.
Oh.
Then I expand the bracket, so I get 6x squared minus 15 minus 2. And because these are like terms, minus 15
Okay.
take away 2 would be
17. Oh, okay.
minus.
No, man.
Yeah? So, let's do our next question from the PDF. Let's do the first question. So number 5, it starts at number 5, right? So when you open the PDF, if you ever do, the first one you're going to see is number 5. Now, what you're going to realize is that you're going to be seeing some months and some years next to them. This is because it's just a bunch of function questions from 1989 all the way to 2005. So we're actually practicing CSEC questions right now, right?
Mm.
So it says, given that f of x is equal to 5x and g of x is equal to x minus 2, for part 1 is asking you to calculate f of 2. So, who's that lucky person?
So the answer I got
Yes,
Ten.
Shaniqua.
10 or
So it'll be 5 times 2, which is
10.
10.
great. I'm hearing Salisha. Right, so Salisha, what is g of f of 2?
X is not 2 x supposed to. Alright, so it will be g of 10. It will be 10 minus 2.
Which is?
Which is 8.
8.
Great. Part 2 of the question. Determine x when f g of x equals to 0. Now, when it comes to such a question, we first have to find out, well, what is f of g of x?
Yeah.
So, what is f of g of x?
F of g of x will be f equals to g.
And what is f? What is g?
G is x minus 2.
Great. So then, what will f of x minus 2 become?
F of x minus 2 will become
5 and in brackets x minus 2.
Expand that, what will we get?
5x
minus 10.
minus 10.
Great. So now they're asking us, well, what value of x will make this equal to x minus equal to 0? Well, since we know what this is now, right? This is what?
X minus 10.
Exactly. So we have 5x minus 10, and we're putting that equal to
0.
0.
So what do we know?
So
X is equal
10
to 0 plus 10.
Now what?
So x is equal to 10 over 5, which is 2.
We go there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So now,
What we doing? Maths.
did somebody ask what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was talking and my mic was mute, bro.
that's highly unfortunate, you know. So the next question, and I will work this one out. It says, prove that GF inverse of 23 equals 5. Well, it means that we first have to find what is GF inverse, right?
Yeah.
To find GF inverse, we first have to find this GF. Well, that would be G of 5x.
5,
That'll be 5x
5,
minus.
2,
Now, the inverse of this would be y equals to
5x
5x
minus
minus 2.
x
would be
equals 5y minus 2, and
X
then x plus 2 equals 5y. Well, plus 2 over 5.
So that means g f of x inverse
Inverse.
Equals
is
x
x plus
plus
2.
Plus 2 over 5.
And now they say, prove that gf inverse of 23. So instead of x, I'm now going to write
23.
23. So that'll be 23 plus,
equals 5.
Plus 2 divided by 5.
and because that's our answer,
25
put a little
divided by
box here. Now this little box means something. Whenever they say prove, yeah?
Uh-huh.
You see this word?
Yeah.
Whenever we see this word, prove, and we've proven it, we put a little square box here. That square box means something. Right?
exactly?
It actually is a symbol that we use to represent the acronym QED.
Which
Yeah?
is
Which is, I'm probably going to butcher this spelling, but it's quad erat demonstratum.
What?
And what this means,
hello there, man.
Whoa.
all this means that it has been
Been proved.
proven. Yeah.
Just say that.
Bruh.
But all I'm saying, instead of no, well, you had to understand, right? It came from Latin. So all we do instead of writing any words after, once we've shown the proof, all we do then is just put a little box at the end.
So basically, that's the unit.
Yeah, that is the whole. This little box means that whole thing there. Quad erat demonstration.
So somebody asked if class really finishing 4.
They could just leave and have the.
You could just leave, because right now it's just a matter of practicing functions. Because I think we've covered basically everything on functions, which we would not have been able to do in a regular week of class. Online is such an interesting thing. But
Yeah, so
And so by the end of the day, everybody not here though. And I want
That's-
to get me next. And most of them online now.
well, who fault is that?
Yes, sir.
Right.
For real, I remember making TikToks, I'm sure.
For real. For real.
she's trying hard at her profession to be popular, so I can't.
Bruh.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
I'm
she
sure,
wa-
but online actually going better, and most people are here still.
I understand, I agree, but I guess they will watch the recordings. Because this one is fully recorded. And because you all weren't really any pictures, I could actually post it. So if people choose not to come to class, the most I could do is just say that, well, some people decided not to come. So right. So let's see if we could look at some more of the questions, right? So that was number 5. Let's look at number 6 in the PDF. So number 6 in the PDF, January 1990, says that this is the function. So f is it looks like this. This is how they're showing it. That f is a function of x such that x minus 14 over 5x and x is not equal to 0. Yeah? Now, this is a very important statement here. Because let me ask you, so if x was 0, what would have happened?
The answer would be 0.
So
What would have happened? Would that be 0 squared minus 14 over
5.
5x. Well, 5 minus 5 minus
negative
5
14 over 0. But when you divide, can you divide by 0?
No, so the answer will be negative 14.
No, it's going to be undefined,
Undefined.
because you can't. Because you can't. Yeah.
Oh.
So a function, and this is an important note. An important note. So make sure I note this. A function becomes undefined if its denominator
0.
becomes 0. So it's very important to say that x is not a value in what you're looking at here, right? So we're not looking at x at all. X being equal to 0, sorry. X equals 0 is not a value in the function at all. So the first part of the, wrong color. Notice the next good thing about this, the marker don't run out though. Calculate of 4.
The school actually gave us this note already.
Okay, thank you. Well, see, and this is well,
Oh,
everybody.
Lord,
So
Father.
f of 4.
Look at this touchy mouth.
It means that, hey, what's wrong with you?
I was talking to
Manners,
this little
young
child, my baby right here. Oh, no, baby.
Mute your mic when you're talking to yourself, please, because you're talking chicken. F of 4 means that we put 4 into the function, right?
Lord have mercy.
So it becomes 4 squared minus 14 over.
5
Why am I
by
doing
4.
this? Why are you all not telling me what to write?
So
Right,
that's right?
4 squared.
so 16 minus 14
60 minus 14 over 20.
over 20, and you get 2 over 20, I will get
1 over
110.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. Gangsters. Nice.
Oh, yeah, put 2 over
Find
20.
f of g of x
Yeah,
if
put in
g
F.
of x is x minus 1.
So put in
Huh?
x minus 1 squared.
All right,
Minus-
so we put in, so it'll be x minus 1
minus
squared
14,
minus
14, and then 5 by
Over
x
5x.
minus 1.
Right, now we just expand and we work out. So we have to do x minus 1 squared. Remember, x minus 1 squared, what does this mean? This means x minus 1 times,
X minus
Minus
1.
1.
So it will be x squared minus 1.
it is x squared minus x
Minus 4.
minus x plus 1. And why is that? Because each one must multiply each one in the next bracket. So x by x is x squared. X by negative 1 is negative x. Negative 1 by x is negative x. And negative 1 by negative 1 is
1.
so now that becomes, so that's x squared minus 2x plus
Minus
1. Yeah, because negative x take away x is negative 2x.
Minus 14
Minus 14
over 5x.
By
5 minus 5.
Right? Simplify this on top here, because this is like terms. So it becomes x squared minus 2x minus 13 over,
5
5x take away 5.
and that can't be simplified anymore. So we're done.
So, but x can never mind.
No, you can't cancel out. You see, the only time you can do that kind of cancellation is if every single term. So let me say, if all of these terms had x in it,
Yeah.
then you could take off an x from every term. But
Oh,
if there is one that doesn't have x in it, then you can't do that. You can't do that.
So I could only cancel out them if every term have x. So I could only cancel them out when every term have x.
Yeah.
So real people disappearing. 12 people, eh?
Do people disappear? That's their choice, my brother. I cannot choose. I can't tell you to stay. I can't force you to stay. I can't go in your house and be like, get back on.
Why is it
Hey, Justin gone.
I can't do that. All right. Number 7.
So people writing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
As soon as sending it in the group.
Right, done. Yeah, done.
That's good. That's good. Let me see if I could get this loaded here. Okay. All right. I'm trying to get no, so I'm just signing into WhatsApp on the computer so I can send you a picture. I want you to do it, and then I want you to kind of try and tell, and then do not shout out the answer, but private message me the answer, and I'll tell you if you got it right or if you didn't get it right. Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm going to put a question on the screen. Do not shout out the answer, just private message me, and I will tell you whether or not the answer you gave me was correct or not.
I never save your number. Bro.
You don't have to message me like message me through the group right here. You can private message me straight. You don't have to message everybody.
So I can message you on WhatsApp, right?
Fine, all that could work.
So the question.
It's coming up. All right. Let's see. Options. So many wonderful options. Let's start with number 9.
9.
This one. Do you see it?
Yeah. June 91.
Yep. June 91, number 9.
Yeah. Next time.
Whoa. Okay.
Plus X, G.
When it rains, pause.
Let's see who's going to message me first with the right answer.
Determine expressions for the functions. Mute my mic.
So far, I'm seeing answers for part 1. So far, one of them is correct. Right. Answers. There's enough time to look it up.
Kiana.
So let's go through and see if we can get some working here, at least for the first part. So the first part is saying f of g of x. It means that we're going to put this into that function. So it now becomes f of x cubed. That will become 5 plus x to the power of 3. I saw some
Right.
people giving me 5x cubed. It's not going to be this because there's a plus sign here. So that'll be 5 plus x.
Whoa.
Cool?
Yeah.
So the answer is 5 plus x cube.
Yeah.
Bro.
What do you
Bro, you
remember?
make this look so easy. Give it ways. Oh, bro. Because
Ay.
G is x cube. G is x cube. And then just add it to the equation so that can make 5 plus x. Oh, bro.
Yep.
Okay.
Now for the next one.
Let's see.
Inverse.
Right. So that means you start with the function. So that means y is equal to x cubed. X is equal to y cubed. And then y will just then be the cube root of x. That's it.
Alright, you get the point. You get the point.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, man, that's dividing it.
When I start joke, woof,
So
woof.
small, eh?
So answer sugar all correct.
Yes, she did. She did. She did. Good job.
So
Ooh,
send a
number
screenshot
10.
in the group now.
Let's do number 10. Great job, Solange. Now let's do number 10. Find the inverse of these functions. Oh ho.
Finger stuck, yes?
Erase all. Let's go this. I'm erase all. See if I can do it mentally.
So which one?
Number 10.
Oh.
F.
Determine the inverse of the functions.
Remember, PM me your answers. So you can say yay or nay.
2y.
I'm giving you 2 minutes. 2 minutes? Fine. 2.5 minutes. More.
Oh, now I play this on WhatsApp, boy.
Big to big.
Take a picture and send it, right?
So I get the answer for number 1.
All right.
I said, oh gosh, who said that? Thanks, Lance, thanks. I feel so the answer for number 1 is.
Well, why are you talking?
Shari, anything correct there way for number 1?
Right.
Solange, check over. Charlie, check over. Good job, Kayla. Move on.
Kayla, copy down my answer.
Okay, Kayla, copy down your answer and message me privately. Kayla, next to you.
Right, so.
Good job, Shalon. Move on. Good job, Shaniqua. Move on. Now, go over, Kenyan. Try over.
Yes, boy.
Make a mistake. No, you made a mistake. Try again. Solange, one more time. You're making a simple mistake. I'm not telling you what it is yet. My time is gone.
6 plus 5.
5 more
Good
seconds.
boy. Please.
All right. For those of you that were working, continue to work. Let me do the first part at least. So, f of x is 2x plus 5. So y is equal to 2x plus 5. X is equal, yes, Solange, to y plus 5. So x minus 5 is equal to 2y. A lot of you all made a mistake and did not, when you got rid of this, you didn't change the sign. Now it becomes y is equal to x minus 5 over 2.
Yeah.
Oh, bruh. That is mistake I make, bruh.
Yeah, you won't the only one, don't worry yourself.
Sir,
Oh,
that the answer?
yes.
So that was send.
I know what you're saying. You send x plus 5
Oh,
over 2.
yeah, gosh, bruh.
So I corrected my mistake before you actually. And I
A
sent
small mistake that could lose me a mark in an exam.
Or 2.
or 2.
All right, what about the next one? What about g of x? That one should be more fun.
Wait.
Everything fun for you, you know. G of x take away.
No, Kayla, you did some wrong maths there.
So I get it, but I can't factorize it down.
Why not?
You small. You a genius.
Let's see if we can determine where people are getting lost.
Look at it at the end.
No. Remember, Shiniqua, you only want one y in the whole equation. So you can have that y on that side.
You just fine.
Who's this? Well done, Solange.
So just I can send you something.
Are we waiting?
What's patience?
I tell you, I'm waiting, man. I understand what you're saying. When a man says he's waiting, I say patient.
Bruh. If I make the same shipping mistake.
So then do it again now.
So that's it.
Solange, move on to number 11 in the meantime.
I don't know how to put this in the laptop.
Oh my god.
So that x2 is the 2. So the 2 supposed to be like square, eh? It's supposed to be on top, you know.
Oh, nah, that ain't something to write. So I see some people giving me some answers here that kind of close, but at the same time seems to have a little bit of issue. So let me go with the question, right? So we know that g of x is equal to x minus 4 over.
Whistling, boy. Come now.
So then you're trying to find g inverse. So y is equal to x minus 4 over 3x.
Yeah,
X would be y minus 4 over 3y. And we cross multiply. So we have 3xy is equal to y minus 4. Then we'll have 3xy minus y being equal to -4. Factorize that, we'll have 3x minus 1
Project minus 1 equals to
-4.
minus 4.
So it'll be -4 divided by 3x minus
3x minus 1.
So Shaniqua, you put the wrong one below. Yeah, so you because this is what you had to get rid of. This had to go below. All right?
Oh, yeah, I see it wrong.
So it could be -4 over 3x
take away
minus
4.
1. Or it could be, so again, the inverse could be this, or it could be 4 over 1 minus 3x. Remember, it's the same thing, but if there's a negative sign, we can just switch the ones below in the order.
So I put 3x minus 4.
Yeah?
Let's see. I'm hungry.
That's all
Is
right.
it? Or we doing the next one?
Number 11 right there, I think it is.
Okay, okay.
Our next class is Monday. So, oh,
So I need to practice social distancing. Social media is not allowed.
what?
Nothing.
The value of x. If
Who is it? Who is it? Answers, answers, answers. Not yet.
no.
Well, let's stick with the answer weapon.
Okay, so these things take time. Give on that.
I see I was moving with gas. What happened? The gas done now. That was a bad time for gas to done now. No unnecessary movements.
G equals to 8 calculate. The value. Q. What P and Q? Oh,
I feel like I should do this question.
yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, when you do this question, you have to kind of assist some of you that we are totally clueless as to what to do.
So answer yes.
Huh?
So answer yes.
So let's
Yes,
go.
part B, so she is right, part B.
Well, I'll do from part A because we need to send me the answer for part A. So part A, oh, that's much better. So from part A, yeah, it says determine x for which f of x is negative 64. Well, what is f of x? F of x
X.
is x cubed. Well, so to find x, all we have to do is
Minus 64 cube.
cube root it.
You root it.
Yes. To get rid of a cube, you have to cube root. So how do we do this? Second function in a calculator. The x cube button, open brackets, the plus or minus button, 64, close brackets, equals. And when we do that on our calculators, we should get our answer to be negative.
Minus 4, sir.
Yep.
Wait, so there's a plus and a minus there?
Ooh. Yeah, this button, yeah, this button in the calculator, plus or minus button, is usually plus slash minus. It looks something like
Yeah,
that in the calculator.
I saw it, I saw it. Close brackets.
Nice. So we go there, right?
I think so. Let me see.
All right, so let's go with the next part. So it says, given that g of 0 is equal to negative 5, and f g of 2 is negative 8, determine the values of p and q. Okay, well, let's start with what they give us. They tell us g of 0 is equal to minus 5, right?
Yeah.
But what is g of x?
G of X is X, no, PQ plus
Px plus
PX
q.
plus Q.
Well, let's just substitute the 0 into the function. That means it's going to be p times 0 plus q is equal to,
5.
well, what is p times 0? Anything
0,
times 0 is,
0, 0.
that means that q is equal to minus 5. Yes?
Yeah.
Are we good there so far, everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, f of g of 2. Well, let's find g of 2, right? At least the statement. So we know that this is equal to negative 8. So let's find g of 2. G of 2 will be p times 2 plus q, but we know what q is. We found that q was
5, negative 5.
negative 5. That means this becomes 2p minus 5. Is the orange a little better?
Yeah.
All right. So now we have to find f of 2p minus 5 being equal to negative 8. What is f of 2p minus 5? It means that wherever x was in the f function, and what was the f function?
F function was X cubed.
All right. So f function was x cubed. So that means it will now be 2p minus 5 all cubed is equal to negative. Well, we could get rid of this. Instead of expanding the brackets, because we're trying to solve, we could just get rid of the cube by cube rooting on the next side, right? So that means 2p minus 5 will be the
Cube root of minus 8.
negative 8. What's the answer? I know the answer, but what's the answer?
4.
Nah.
Minus
hold
2.
on. Minus 2.
Right, correct. Minus 2.
What you got us again?
You'll do second function. You press your Q button. You open bracket, the plus or minus sign. Put the 8, close bracket, and press equal. Okay? Shelly?
Yeah.
Get it?
Uh-huh.
Right. So now we just find for p. So that means 2p would be minus 2 plus 5, which is 3. So if 2p is equal to 3, then p would be
3 over 2.
Which is
1.5.
1.5. So we found q and we found
p.
Yeah?
Yeah. I guess. We make this look so easy.
Sure.
That's because it was easy. It's just about taking your time and working through what you have given and then just going on from there. So if
So I'm sure that should give yourself if you were still in high school.
When I was in high school, when I bounced upon questions I didn't know, I practiced and looked for harder questions until I understood the concepts. And even in my practicing, sometimes I saw things that I was not taught. So yeah, it might be a headache, but if you have the drive. Now, I could teach you concepts, but I cannot teach you drive. I don't have that skill. you have to want it. And the thing is, if any of you all want it enough, I know that you all more than conquer it. More than, because you all are some really good students. So I know you all can do it. So you just have to want it enough. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how to make you want it. But if you see the importance of it, I can't help you much. When it comes to this part here, we're going to leave this out for now because I want to put all body ahead with this particular thing. This is understanding a little bit more. But
So
I'm telling you
class
that,
done?
what?
We done?
Why? You want it done already?
Already?
Or sleep
Sir,
on it?
we are there since 12, eh?
Why you were here since 12?
So we start 12:59.
No, we didn't.
So we did start 12:59.
We started at 1:05.
Bruh.
So, fine. This is what I want you to do for me. For Monday, let me see.
Just send it to the group now, please.
It's in the group already?
Alright, good.
Yeah, so me and Solange staying back with you.
No problem. But for those of you that need to that have a headache and can't take no more, I understand because it really has been almost 2 hours. So I understand that. So I'm not going to force anybody else. But for Monday, God willing, I want you, or we did 13 already.
Bruh. Monday's a holiday.
Yes, sir. The Baptist holiday thingy.
Oh, they are home all these days. Oh my God.
All right. Any of you are going out to celebrate Shouta Baptist on Monday?
Yes, sir.
No essential movement and you're going out to celebrate?
Me and me granny.
In the bed.
Fine.
So where's the next week, Wednesday?
Monday.
No, I have class every day. So whereas you might be the only, I might be the only one teaching you all. You are not the only ones I'm teaching. So I have class every single day. Yeah, Monday is a holiday, and well, Zoe, you just watch the rerun. That's all right. But still practice the questions.
I'll be even like going somewhere Monday though.
Big man thing. I call you home in on the bed.
All right, number 21. Number
21.
Number 23 and number 24.
So that in the practice, so you can send over the practice thing in the group.
All right.
Thanks.
Numbers
But I
21,
need to start the messages, boy.
23 and 24.
I see. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye. All right, those of you that are so desirous of going, have a wonderful weekend. Stay out of trouble. Stay in home. Don't do drugs.
Start and start. So what, sir? Don't forget to send anything, eh?
Don't forget to send what?
The recording, however.
All right, cool, no problem.
Yeah, would.
Eight.